Hello, Aries. I'm Poetic, Heretic, and this is your April tarot forecast. I'll be giving you a Celtic cross reading for all Aries individuals out there, sun, rising, and moon. See what insight, information, and advice we can gain for the month of April 2020. So, should be interesting. Adjust the camera a little bit. All right. So without further ado, we would like a Celtic cross forecast for Aries, for all Aries individuals, sun, rising, in for the month of April 2020. Let us see what we get. What happens in April? Okay, there it is. For your current outside influences, you got the moon. For the challenge, you got the world reversed. For the underlying energy, you got the Queen of Pentacles reversed. For the past, the Ace of Swords. For what you hope to achieve, the Five of Cups reversed. For the near future, the Five of Swords. Well, perhaps a bit of conflict or fighting in the near future in the month of April. Well, we shall see. For your attitude or position on the situation, the Eight of Pentacles reversed. The outside force coming in, the High Priestess reversed. For your hopes or fears, the Queen of Cups. And for the final outcome card, the Three of Cups. All right. All's well that ends well, I suppose. Is that accurate? Well, we shall see. So you're beginning the month, of course, with the Moon card. This represents your current outside influences right around the beginning of the month. So things at the beginning of April may not be quite what they seem for you. They may be shrouded in illusion, or there may simply be illusions that are sort of preventing you from seeing things for what they are. The Moon card can talk about fears and paranoia, including like irrational paranoia. It can talk about this idea of hidden enemies, people talking behind your back, that sort of thing. In a positive sense, though, more positive meaning of the card, it can talk about like spirituality and rites, rituals, ceremonies, creativity and imagination, getting in touch more with the non-physical realms. I'd say especially like imagination tying in a lot to this card, and like getting in touch with one's emotions. Now, how it manifests for you, well, it's probably going to vary from Aries to Aries, but we do see, I'm not going to lie here, a bit of rough energy in other parts of the reading, though it does improve by the end of the month. Interestingly enough, it does improve by the end of the month. But indeed, with some of these other cards here, I would say, yeah, like be careful, especially around the beginning of this month, but also further into the month of April. be careful who you trust, and be careful about this idea of people possibly going behind your back or trying to like trick you or deceive you in some way. Like if you get a bad feeling about someone or multiple people or whatever, know that that feeling may very well be there for good reason. Don't ignore what your intuition is trying to tell you. We even have the High Priestess reverse coming up later to remind us of that. So for your challenge card this month, you got the World, and it did come up reversed. But let's look at it upright to really like zero in on the energy of your challenge. So the World card as your challenge card. Your challenge being to, how do I put this? To achieve a great manifestation, to come full circle, to gain consciousness and awareness, a great sort of consciousness and awareness. And if I were to interpret this intuitively with the crossing over the Moon card as it does, I would say that it's quite possibly a message from the universe to you, Aries, this month to really try to be aware of things. You know, we have this idea of the World card in general talking about this sort of like cosmic consciousness or whatever. Well, in a more, I guess, practical daily life sense, and in this context of this reading, it's like just make sure that you have consciousness and awareness, period, of what's going on. You know, like if there's people that you can't trust or that are involved in wretched activities, then have awareness of that, period. Be on the lookout for that in general. However, in a more sense, I mean, the World card is a very positive card, and it showing up could be saying, oh, maybe there's a sense of celebration that you want to achieve, or an achievement in general, or a culmination, perhaps even. And of course, many Aries people out there will be celebrating your birthday this month, so happy birthday. This may even be indicative of celebrating that. Of course, if we want to take this a step further, we could consider how with the Moon card showing up first thing, and at times talking about illnesses and medical problems. Well, so much of the whole world right now is unfortunately experiencing a lot of illness and medical problems with this coronavirus stuff going on. And so there may be an indication that many of you will have challenges with that. And then it's like with the World card there, it's like, how do you still celebrate the good times? Like, say, your birthday, for those of you whose birthday it is this month, and that'll be the majority of you. How do you still celebrate the good times when there's all this darkness going on? Well, that is perhaps your challenge. All right, so for the underlying energy, everything forming a foundation for your current situation this month, you got the Queen of Pentacles reversed. So your foundation isn't feeling very secure this month. A lot of you are feeling quite possibly financial insecurity, especially, or just insecurity in general, like things are not as safe and secure as you want them to be, especially those things that you rely upon, those things that support you. And this could also be read as there's this general sort of background feeling this month of things not being safe and secure, of, again, insecurity, especially things maybe not being financially sound. And so I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but, you know, the world is kind of going insane right now. So I'm not sure, you know, of course that's going to show up in these tarot readings. So I can't just hide that from people as if everything's fine, when so many people are in fact suffering right now and will continue to throughout the month of April, sadly. But, you know, it's times like these that tarot can be extremely helpful during some of our most challenging times, giving us guidance in the dark. All right, so for the past and issues that you've had to deal with that then lead to the present, you got the Ace of Swords. So this connects in with our theme of awareness. You know, have you had challenges in seeing things clearly, or issues seeing things clearly, seeing things for what they are. Um, have you had issues surrounding things that you have discovered? On the other hand, though, this card, I mean, the aces tend to be quite positive, even the Ace of Swords. And so it's almost like saying maybe for many of you, you've actually had a lot of positive breakthroughs recently, and it's only sort of now at the beginning of April, or maybe like late March or thereabouts, that you're entering into this other phase where we have this idea of like deceit and conflict and potential ill health running rampant. So seems like it could be a couple of things, but I think as I sort of look over your reading here before me, I think what the cards are really getting at is this contrast, this juxtaposition of contrast with the Ace of Swords, a card of great clarity and, just cutting through the illusion. But then in the present, your current outside influences being the moon, now is illusion. You're back in illusion, unfortunately. Or things being like not what they seem. But that's something that I think is going to be quite common this month, because we've still got Mercury making its way through Pisces. Now it's direct, at least, but I think a lot of people, regardless of what readings they may get this month, are going to be struggling with clarity, not just Aries, but literally everyone. All right, so for what you hope to achieve, you got the Five of Cups reversed. So this is like your highest hope, your highest goal, what you're reaching for this month, the best you can hope for. Five of Cups reversed is nice because it talks about a recovery from loss, a recovery from disappointment, greater optimism, improving times, things of this nature, and a true realization that not all is lost, that there is great improvement to be had. And so I think that's what it's going to be for many Aries people out there, is like, you recognize that, yes, a lot of disappointing or difficult things have happened, but there's still hope, basically. And the recognition of that is important. And I believe that's a big part of why this card is showing up in this position for you, is so that you can realize that there is hope, there is optimism to be had. But I would say, especially with the challenges so many of us are facing right now, a realistic optimism is what you want, not a delusional optimism that the moon card can, in its own way, warn us about. So that is what we have there. For the near future, representing about the first week or two of the month, you got the Five of Swords. So indeed, treachery, conflict, people going behind your back, fighting, cross words, or like verbal arguments, things of this nature. So be aware of the risk of that in the first week or two. Again, with that moon card, I'm thinking like someone may be trying to hide the truth from you or deceive you in some way. So be on the lookout for that this month. Trust your intuition. Listen to what it says. Be very careful. However, on a lighter note, when we observe here that this is the fifth card of the Swords suit, we notice that the fifth house is activated because we just went over the Five of Cups, 2 5s. Your fifth house of love, fun, romance, children, risk-taking, all of these things is activated this month. And so those areas of your life, having more fun and really being very creative and daring, perhaps, is far more likely for Aries people this month. So that's something that's quite nice. Or even this idea of risk-taking, maybe like with the moon card, maybe you can't figure out the truth right now, but you don't have time to sit around and wait until you have it all figured out. You have to act now because there is all kinds of stuff happening. And so risk-taking in that sense, it's something that sort of jumped out at me just now. So for your attitude or position in the situation about halfway through the month, you got the Eight of Pentacles reversed. So you're likely not feeling like working this month. You're not feeling like you're able to steadily and securely work away at things, probably because for many of you, I would imagine the spreading coronavirus, this thing just out there everywhere, wrecking everything, wrecking industries, wrecking the economy. And so it's like, indeed, you feel like, how are you supposed to focus on your work right now if you even still have like employment or whatever, when there's all of this craziness going on? That like you can't steadily work away at things when there's either you've lost your job or there's instability, there's chaos everywhere. Fives can also be, in a more negative sense, chaos, I should mention as well. So I think that's a challenge that many of you are facing. Sometimes this card reverse can mean simply laziness, but I don't think that's what we're looking at for the vast majority of people this month, because of the challenges that the world is facing currently and the fact that it affects basically everyone. For the outside force coming in, you got the High Priestess reversed. Is there, yet again, someone who is acting in a manner that is not helpful to you, that is perhaps harmful to you, maybe acting in a parasitic manner or a deceptive manner? Is there someone who is trying to sort of mesmerize or hypnotize you so that you don't see the truth clearly in a mental sense, nor are you able to hear your intuition or feel your intuition in a more emotional, intuitive sense? Be very much aware of that. High Priestess reversed sometimes manifest as like vampirism, like a vampire trying to suck the life out of you this month. So, be very, very careful of that. It is true in a more positive sense. Sometimes the High Priestess reverse can indicate like the end of withdrawal, the end of loneliness, like no more isolation and getting out into the world a bit more. So maybe there is something that happens later in April that helps a number of Aries people out there to interact more with other people. Of course, we've all had, I don't mean to keep going on and on about this, but the social distancing and everything else because of this virus. Maybe later on in April, there's some kind of reprieve from that. I don't know. I personally don't think that people are going to be safe to like just leave their houses a lot and act like things were the way they were before. But maybe, I don't know, maybe the restrictions can be relaxed a little bit later on in April. I don't know. We'll have to see. But it's interesting because there's that. And then the final outcome card is the Three of Cups, as if to suggest indeed there's more socialization taking place by the end of the month, one way or another, for Aries people out there. All right. For your hopes or fears, you got the Queen of Cups. So with this being a court card, this might represent an adult female water sign that you are perhaps a bit concerned about. That would be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. So there may be someone in your life of that energy that you're a bit concerned about, because this card is falling in your hopes or fears. But I mean, well, some cards suggest that this might be someone that that maybe there's a reason to worry about, but other things are saying not so much, like that outcome card there. So just something to be aware of. In a more generalized sense, the Queen of Cups card talks about a deep awareness of the emotional realms, a like kind, gentle, compassionate understanding, empathy with one's emotional state, that sort of thing. And so it's interesting because we have this idea of some potential conflict between yourself and other people this month. And it's like this card showing up in your hopes or fears is saying that, well, there's a part of you, of course, as always, that wants to have empathy with other people and wants to be compassionate and kind-hearted and gentle with them. But I think a lot of you may be concerned this month if it's safe for you to actually do that, for you to sort of let your guard down and show that kind of kindness to people when maybe they're not people you can trust in the first place. And that is a very real type of challenge that many of us face all the time, essentially. So know that you are not alone. For the final outcome card, finally, dose of positivity, it is indeed the Three of Cups. Social events, social gatherings, social harmony, getting together with friends, parties, award ceremonies. I don't know if we'll be having too many of those by the end of April with everything that's going on, but you get the idea. A lot of great fun times with friends or social gatherings or whatever, flowing conversation, positive social harmony, that sort of thing. I almost wonder if the implication here is that a lot of it's going to be happening virtually, but I can't say that for sure. But regardless, after a rather perhaps challenging month, it ends on a positive note. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So just know that at least. So all right, Aries, that is it. And that is your forecast for the month of April 2020. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe if you're not already, as I'm always streaming more astrology and tarot related content. Also, again, happy birthday if it's your birthday this month. I hope it's a delightful one, even though we see like these various challenges and maybe there's like a deceiver in your midst or whatever. I hope you have a really good month nonetheless. Maybe those 2 5s do indicate a certain level of fun and creativity and excitement making its way into your life. Remember with that 5 of Cups reversed as well, reminding you that there is hope, there is reason for optimism and that sort of thing. I want to say also that if you would like, well, there's a couple of things I want to say. First of all, if you would like a reading from me, a personal reading from me, I am now doing live tarot readings for donations of any amount, even as little as $1, every Friday on this channel at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So you can return to this channel and look for that at that time. There's been some issues today with YouTube not showing my streams in search results and not showing them in people's like sub boxes and stuff like that. And they're basically only showing up on my channel, except for, I guess, I think email notifications still went out. So yeah, if you want to make sure that you catch those streams, if they're not showing up at 7 p.m. on Friday Eastern time, go to my channel itself, like the actual channel page, and see if it's there. If not, just a little bit and return to it, because maybe I got delayed for some reason or something like that. But yes, my plan from now on is to go live from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time every Friday, doing live tarot readings for a donation of any amount. So you could pay even just $1 through Super Chat or through PayPal, and I'll be happy to give you a live tarot reading. And of course, I'll stay on those streams longer if there's a high demand. If a lot of people want readings, I'll stay on for longer than an hour. Okay. The other main thing I want to let you know is that I do other streams as well on various like occult and spiritual topics every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday now in the afternoon around about 3 p.m. Eastern time. So like 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if you want to see any of those, again, check out my channel at those times. And okay, so that's about it. Thanks for listening to me rant about that. And thank you so much again for watching, Aries. I hope you have a magnificent month.